Isn't it odd that since the year 2000, there have only been 9 countries without a Rothschild-owned or controlled central bank, and the United States has tried to start war or conflict with every single one of them? It almost seems like invasion, war, and conflict have a lot to do with the banking system.
A friend in need's a friend indeed. A friend with weed is better. A friend with breasts and all the rest. A friend who's dressed in leather. A friend in need's a friend indeed. A friend who'll tease is better. Our thoughts compressed, which makes us blessed and makes for stormy weather. A friend in need's a friend indeed. My Japanese is better. And when she's pressed, she will undress. And then she's boxing clever. A friend in need's a friend indeed. A friend who bleeds is better. My friend confessed she passed the test. And we will never sever. Days, dawning, skins crawling. Days, dawning, skins crawling. Days, dawning, skins crawling. Days, dawning, skins crawling. Pure morning, pure morning, pure morning, pure morning. A friend in need's a friend indeed. A friend who'll tease is better. Our thoughts compressed, which makes us blessed and makes for stormy weather. A friend in need's a friend indeed. A friend who bleeds is better. My friend confessed she passed the test, and we will never sever. Days, dawning, skins crawling. Days, dawning, skins crawling. Days, dawning, skins crawling. Days, dawning, skins crawling. Pure morning, 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 pure morning. A friend in need's a friend indeed. My Japanese is better. And when she's pressed, she will undress. And then she's boxing clever. A friend in need's a friend indeed. A friend with weed is better. A friend with breasts and all the rest. A friend who's dressed in leather.
I'm not quite sure why I'm here or what I'm doing, but there's a reason. I don't like Facebook, and I don't like the internet. The library blocked my password. Now tell me, does that make any sense to you?
This is absolutely lit. This is lit.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dark Times with your boy, Dark Match Steve. Welcome to the live stream. we just get in here, like to turn up, plot the overthrow of our government. You know, we don't really take it that seriously in here. It's just fun times. Welcome, welcome. Feel free to join us. Where are we at tonight? Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, also known as X, if you are autistic and addicted to ketamine. Wherever you're at, get in the chat, lovers. We'd love to hear from you. What are we covering tonight? Maduro taken out. I don't know who that is. I think it's what is he? The leader of Pakistan or something? I don't know. No, Venezuela. Venezuela. Yes. And then also Tim Walz stepping down. We're going to cover both these topics. And I got something interesting for us to check out because there's a lot of what I feel is probably justified suspicion and debatably justified outrage given the situation with Trump, the United States, Trump's government getting involved with Venezuela. We're just going to talk a lot. There's a lot of different directions we'll be digressing in with this subject tonight. Saved a few things. There's one long form thing it might be worth us checking out. So, but again, you guys know how I am here. There's stuff I save for here because I want us to all like see it for the first time together. So, if this thing, this video I saved, if it sucks, we'll like skip through it or skip it entirely. We'll check it out anyway, but we'll probably cover some Tim Walz stuff first. And you guys know I've got a Tim Walz parody song. We got it here in the hopper just for days like this. And I'm going to have to get some use out of it, guys, because it sounds like news is Tim Walz is not going to be running for reelection. So I can only get so many plays out of this Tim Walz parody song that I made, before it's completely irrelevant. So anyway, we got a lot on the menu for the evening for your palate. Let me get to the chat. Say hello to. I already got you guys up on the page. Look at that. You're already covering my award and my graduation picture. My few accomplishments in life. The only things I have to show for anything I've ever done in my life. And you guys are just going to walk all over it like that. But I allow it because that's how much I love you, chat. All right, let's get to it so I can edge you guys. What's up, lovers? It's the Gunnathon. Bart Hutchison, what's up, lovers, friends? Kenny Powers is in here. Oh, guys, I guess I caught whatever the fuck's going around. By the way, I'm probably sick. The thing is, I was like really, I went to sleep. What night was it? Friday night? Yeah, Friday night. I wasn't feeling good. But I wasn't feeling that bad. I was just like, I was okay, but I felt a little tired. And then when it started getting like past 11, I was like getting really tired and then starting to hack up a bunch of, mucus. But then again, I was smoking. We were kind of toking a lot. So I wasn't really sure if, anyway, I'm not even if I'm sick, I'm almost over it or not that sick or something. I'm just like hacking up a little bit of mucus. My nose isn't even really runny. I got really shitty sleep one night and I've been, I've slept okay the other nights since then. So, I guess whatever, I'm okay. But, my mom's partner, my mom's no longer with us, but she made us some chicken soup because my roommate, my brother's also sick. We got some chicken soup here. I had some pre-cooked chicken that I bought from Sprouts. I added, a few pieces in there of that, just shredded it with my bare hands. And I added some bone broth, chicken bone broth. And what else? And salt. I added a little extra salt and some lemon juice. 3 big-ass tablespoons of fucking sour-ass lemon juice. So this soup's about to kick it again. It's going to be kicking. Johnny Z, what's up, guys? Welcome. I hope everybody else is like, doing okay. Hope no one else has gotten sick. I know Scott Starbird's been saying it's like, making the rounds, circulating endlessly through his home. Bob Cook, sir. What's up, guys? Welcome. Let me get through the chat so we can get started here. Sniz is in the chiz. What's up, Sniz? Oil is really dinosaur jizz, Sniz. Bro. What I think that didn't they debunk that recently that dinosaur bones is what they're making is has anything to do with gasoline or not in the way that they presented it. I don't really care. So, we can look that up maybe. I don't know. Is this Brent Hatley's that's not Goodbye Horses. That was Placebo. Brent Hatley might actually like that band because it's pretty good. But I think Brent is mainly into like a lot of metal, I thought. He probably listens to a little everything. Scott Starboard. The mods up in here. What's up? Y'all better look out. Scott's in here. Icy Bird. I almost skipped you, lover. Welcome, Icy. Thank you guys for coming to hang. Truth's up in here. Let me scroll through some. Timmy can sell tampons and promote his Broadway musical. Motherfucker needs to just be a fucking street clown because that's how he acts. That is his spirit animal, is a fucking street clown, a street performing clown that's got wearing a dirty clown suit like Yucko the Clown, but not doing funny stuff like Yucko. He needs to just look like Yucko, fucked up, and like he's diseased and like you wouldn't want to go near him, but still trying to come up to genuinely thinking he's going to make children happy by coming up to them and doing weird stuff and just scaring the shit out of them. That should be Tim Walz's future. In fact, I'm sure that's not too far off. You wait for the headlines, guys. You guys know the predictions I make in here, just talking shit. You guys know how it goes, where I will just talk right out of my ass. And it looks like I'm using this microphone, but I have a lapel mic down my pants. I'm talking out of my ass, and I just make correct predictions about reality because this is just the most based and underrated stream on the goddamn internet. Stacy, what's up, Stacy? Welcome. Nick the Gun Guy's up in here. We're going to do some pods in Wyoming. Bro, who else? Guys, it's so funny. As much as I talk about how Wyoming was the shit, and I feel like, sometimes I'm like, man, am I just kind of fucking stupid? Am I autistic and just like, oh, it's so beautiful? Am I just that gay that I go to like a really, a kind of naturally aesthetically appealing location? And I just go, it's the best place ever. Dude, other people feel that way when they go there. It's funny. Nick Roachford, who was, is Rainey up in here, by the way? We told Rainey to check out the Scuff Realtor. Dutch Duke, Double D's up in here. What's up? Is Rainey in here yet? I'm scrolling down again. Anyway, we told Rainey, Emily, what's up? Sorry. Wait, what is it? Yeah, Emily Hall. What's up? Welcome. We told Rainey to check out Scuff Realtor. Here she is. And Nick Roachford, he went recently. Nick Roachford was on Kill Tony. Fucking guys, go check that out if you have not watched it. I don't know how avid of Kill Tony fans we've got in the chat regularly. I know we talk about Kill Tony here and there. It gets brought up, but yeah, Nick Roachford was on Kill Tony, and he was one of the panelists, one of the guest hosts, and the other comedian guest host was fucking Harlan Williams. I fucking love him. And I was worried about how they would mesh, but it was good, guys. I don't even think I finished it. I got to go back and finish it, but it was everything I saw from it was pretty funny, and Nick did pretty well. But I watched a Sam Hyde, Charles Carroll, and Nick Roachford on whatever channel it is that they do, like they release clips from like them talking in their podcast. And Nick Roachford's this Kill Tony stop, I guess it was partly part of his tour, maybe, or maybe not. I don't know, but he was talking about his tour as well as the Kill Tony spot. And he was like, yeah, fucking, I stopped at all these places on tour. I stopped at Casper, Wyoming. Guys, that's where I fucking stayed, as you know. And he's like, Casper, Wyoming. And he was like bragging about it, even though he was like, the comedy show was like a room the size, it's like smaller than the fucking lobby of a Somalian daycare. And there was like 10 people in there, But he said he still liked doing the set, and Wyoming was cool. And he started bragging about, how Casper was cool and fucking, what's it called? What's his name, guys? Jeffree Star. Dude, Jeffree Star owns a yak farm out there. We ate some of Jeffree Star's yak meat. I had Jeffree Star's meat in my gullet, down my throat, gagging me. And it was just it was funny. We need 2026 DMS predictions. Well, I just gave you one today about Tim Walz, so we'll see how that goes. Oh, his name is. Oh, wait, are you talking to me, Rainey? Nick was too nervous. What? I think he did okay. I'll have to go back. I don't think he was too nervous. He did seem nervous, but not too nervous, dude. I thought he did all right. He got some good pops, man. Yeah, I had yak meat. Yak is it was pretty good. I'll have to say the yak burgers we had. What was the Branding Iron? That's the restaurant there in Casper, Wyoming, that does the yak burgers, and the yak meat comes from Jeffree Star's ranch out there, whatever his yak farm. I don't think he has an actual ranch. I don't know. Yeah, Rainey, it's the Scuffed Realtor. That's like his show. That's Nick Rochford's YouTube channel show. He might stream other places too, but I've only seen it YouTube. But then he was on Kill Tony as Nick Rochford, Harlan Williams on Kill Tony. Yak is back. It is, guys. I don't know if it was in before, but just in case it was, it's back now. All right, so let's get to it first. I'm going to start eating my soup, I guess, before it gets too cold. I could have done another spoon of the lemon juice in here. Guys, I'm telling you, you get a kind of somewhat large serving of soup, do like 3 or 4 of the spoons of the lemon juice in there in a chicken soup. God damn. All right, let me get you guys on this tab here. We'll start with the Tim Walz stuff. Is this supposed to? Okay, I think this is supposed to be a video of him announcing that he's not running for re-election. So he's not technically not stepping down, but yeah, he's not going to be running again. People, of course, are saying that this is, it's amid the controversy with the daycares, the Somalian daycares in Minnesota, and that, this is related. Who the fuck knows?
Well, good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. Like many Minnesotans, I have to tell you, I was glad to turn the page on 2025. It was an extraordinarily difficult year for our state, and it ended on a particularly sour note. For the last several years, an organized group of criminals have sought to take advantage of this state's generosity.
Wow. So he's acknowledging it. Tell me this is the Somali stuff. He's acknowledging this. Holy fuck, guys. That's pretty wild. Okay, let's see where this goes, because this shows you guys I did not watch this. I just saw that. I clicked on it. I was like, okay, let's bring this up, see what he says. We'll see what this clip is. Wild.
Ordinarily difficult year for our state.
And guys, can I ask real quick, and I'll let this play. Is the audio, I just want to know it's coming out of one side because whoever fucking uploaded this is an absolute schmuck. What's the audio doing for you guys? Does it sound fucked up, or you can hear them, right? I guess you guys can hear it because Sniz says holy shiz. So, okay. Let's get back to it.
It ended on a particularly sour note. For the last several years, an organized group of criminals have sought to take advantage of this state's generosity. And even as we make progress in the fight against the fraudsters, we now see an organized group of political actors seeking to take advantage of a crisis. I don't want to mince words here. Donald Trump and his allies in Washington and in St. Paul.
Dude, that's funny. That's funny. He's trying to bro, he's playing hot potato with the heat. This is wild. He's just not only have some criminals taken advantage of us, and we swear the corruption has nothing to do with me or anyone I put into positions of power, but not only has that happened, but these terrible Republicans have come in here and started making memes about us. Memes!
And online want to make our state a colder, meaner place. They want to poison our people against each other by attacking our neighbors. And ultimately, they want to take away much of what makes Minnesota the best place in the country to raise a family.
What a fucking clown.
They've already begun trying to withhold funds that were meant to help families afford child care. And they have no intention of stopping there. Make no mistake, we should be concerned about fraud in our state government. We cannot effectively deliver programs and services if we can't earn the public's trust. That's why over the past few years, we've made systemic changes in the way we do business. We've gone to the legislature time and time again to get more tools to combat fraud. We've hired people we fired people who weren't doing their jobs. We've seen people go to jail for stealing from our state. We've cut off whole streams of funding in partnership with the federal government.
The streamers too. They cut off the streamers.
We saw widespread criminal activity. We put new locks on the doors of our remaining programs, and we've hired a new head of program integrity to make sure that those locks can't be broken. All across this state, Minnesotans are hard at work on this problem. Advocates, administrators, investigators are on the front lines defending the integrity of our state's programs. And I want to give a very heartfelt thank you to all of them. There is more to do. A single taxpayer dollar wasted on fraud should be intolerable. And while there's a role to play for everyone, from the legislature to prosecutors to insurance companies to local and county government, the buck does stop with me. My administration has been taking fast, decisive action to solve this crisis. We'll win the fight against the fraudsters. But the political gamesmanship we're seeing from Republicans is only making that fight harder. We've got Republicans here in the state legislature playing hide and seek with potential whistleblowers. We've got conspiracy theorist right-wing YouTubers breaking into our daycares, demanding access to our children. We've got the president
said, "Those are my kids. You hear me? They're mine. I get to, touch them and do whatever I want with them."
Of the United States.
Not these YouTubers. They're creepy.
Demonizing our Somali neighbors and wrongfully confiscating funds that Minnesotans rely on. It's disgusting and it's dangerous. Republicans are playing politics with the future of this state. It's shameful. And I've said it before, and I will continue to say it. We welcome ideas from anyone, in any party, from any walk of life, who wants to help us continue to stay ahead of these criminals. And we welcome the involvement of the federal government. I am grateful to the career professionals at the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI who have been helping us fight this fight for years. But I cannot abide the actions of the political leadership in Washington. These opportunists are willing to hurt our people to score cheap points. They and their allies have no intention of helping us solve this problem.
Wait, but okay. Guys, I know I was just stuffing my fucking face, and I'm about to continue with a bowl of my, granola in milk cereal concoction thing. Did he say how this is what? If I really wanted to get creative, I could think of something, but what has he given us some kind of example or something? I didn't hear. How is it hurting to have YouTubers cover this? That slipped by me. Did he say what damage is the YouTubers doing by going down there and trying to report on this? You know, even though they look a little clownish. Little Joey needs a better Leering Center. We all do. Why do they call it the Leering Center when they won't let Nick Shirley leer at the kids at all? They won't let him see the kids. I'll say it's false advertising. You won't let us leer at the kids. You have the windows blocked out and the doors are locked. We can't see any of the kids.
And every intention of trying to profit off of it. Which brings me to this. 2026 is an election year. Election years have a way of ramping up the politics at a time when we simply can't afford more of that in Minnesota. In September, I announced that I would seek a historic third term as Minnesota's governor. And I have every...
So here, hold on. He's about to announce, but what was he? Let me hear that complete thought there. Hold on.
And the FBI, who have been helping us fight this fight for years. But I cannot abide the actions of the political leadership in Washington. These opportunists are willing to hurt our people to score cheap points. They and their allies have no intention of helping us solve this problem and every intention of trying to profit off of it. Which brings me to this. 2026 is an election year. Election years have a way of ramping up the politics at a time when we simply can't afford more of that in Minnesota. In September, I announced that I would seek a historic third term as Minnesota's governor. And I have every confidence that if I gave it my all, we would win the race. But as I reflect on this moment with my family and my team over the holidays, I came to the conclusion that I can't give a political campaign my all. Every minute that I spend defending my own political interest would be a minute I can't spend defending the people of Minnesota against the criminals who prey on our generosity and the cynics who want to prey on our differences. So I've decided to step out of this race, and I'll let others worry about the election while I focus on the work that's in front of me for the next year. I'm passing on this race with zero sadness and zero regret. I did not run for this job to have the job. I ran for the job to do the job. Minnesota faces enormous challenges this year, and I refuse to spend a single minute doing anything other than rising to meet this moment. Minnesota has always come first and always will. That's what I believe servant leadership demands of me. As an optimist, I'll hold out some hope that my friends on the other side of the aisle will consider what servant leadership demands of them in the moment. We can work together to combat against the criminals. We can work together to rebuild the public's trust and make our state stronger. But make no mistake about it. If Republicans continue down the path of abusing power, smearing entire communities, and running their own fraudulent game at the expense of Minnesotans, I will fight back with everything that I have. I am absolutely confident a Democratic and a DFLer will hold this seat come November. I'm confident that I'll find ways to contribute to the state that I love long after next January. But there'll be time to worry about all that later. Today, I'm proud of the work we've done to make Minnesota America's best place to live and raise kids.
Dear God, man. Do you think there's anybody that's like listening to this and like buys it or something? You know? And they're like, oh, I bet Minnesota is pretty cool. You know, they just gotta just fix the daycare situation, you know. It's not a complete clown show with the chief clown himself, Tim Walz, putting tampons in the restrooms. No, it's not. It's it's a great pace to raise your kids if they're trans.
From our new paid leave policy to our child tax credit to our school lunch programs feeding every single child. And I'm doubly
you feed them tampons.
Proud of the incredible team we put together to make this vision a reality. I want to take a moment to thank every member of my staff, to every single state employee who has been part of this fight. Now more than ever, I need you on the job. I need you to help work together to tackle the important work in front of us. And most of all, I want Minnesotans to know how grateful I am for the opportunity to serve this state, for the privilege that I have been given to serve in this office. I'm on the job. I'm focused on making sure that we stay America's best place to live and raise kids.
Lies!
No one will take that away from us. I'm proud of the way we treat our neighbors. I'm proud of the way that we welcome people to this state. I'm proud of the way that we innovate. And I'm proud of the way that we are optimists for the future.
Well, that's pathetic.
No one's taking this away from us. Not the fraudsters. Certainly not this president. Not on my watch. Tomorrow, I'll be back with you. I'll give you an update on America's best paid family medical leave program that is now a week into it. And at that time, I'll take all your questions. Thank you all.
Thank you, press. I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks, folks. I'll have more tomorrow. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. You let your career get wrecked by some fucking stupid conservative YouTuber? You fucking loser. All right, let's find the parody song. I don't know if I have it in my system. I just farted. Sorry, guys. If you smell something, it was me. Okay, I gotta, gotta take it over to the tubes. Here, let me get you guys on this deal. Wait, videos, right? Oh, wait, did it come up? No. There we go.
Democratic
Tampons in the boys' room. Let's go, guys. Do y'all remember this jam? Brian from Philly. What's up, guys? I knew I smelled Vaseline, you sick bastard. What, from my fart? Every house needs a tampon dispenser or they get a fine. That's the least egregious law that I think got passed in Minnesota under Tim Walz.
Vice presidential nominee Tim Walz is trending on social media as Tampon Tim.
Republicans are calling it Tampon Tim.
Republicans on social media referring to him as Tampon Tim.
So Tampon Tim.
Online, the trending thing is Tampon Tim.
If you haven't heard, it's called Tampon Tim.
Democrat buffoons have been making me gag. Kamala's VP pick is a real douchebag. She got nominated, some call it a coup. Tim Walz got picked because Democrats hate Jews. Tampons in the boardroom. Tampons in the boardroom. Tim Walz must have been high on shrooms when he passed a...
Bro, what human being moves like this? What human being? Just the over animated bullshit. Fucking freak.
Lot of put tampons in the boardroom.
And he signed a bill allowing pedophiles to claim human rights protections under the state law.
Tim Walz signed some bills throughout his career. He got tampons for young boys to stick in their rear. If he gets elected, we'll have no border wall. And pedophilia won't be illegal at all. Tampons in the board.
That clip right there, that clip with a fully grown, probably like 50-some-year-old disgusting guy twerking in front of little kids. Where'd it go? This is in Minnesota. This clip is from Minnesota. See all those little kids in the background? See this woman explaining to this little girl, no, it's okay that you're seeing a fully grown man's penis bounce around in his fucking underwear that probably has shit stains in it in the middle of the street. No, it's cool. This is Pride Month. It's Pride Month. Look at this guy Look at this fully grown adult. Looks like I don't know if this is a pack of cigarettes he has tucked in his sock or if he's on house arrest, but there's a lot going on in this, basically, is what I'm getting at here. There's lots of kids and lots of disgusting, fully grown, 50-some-year-old disgusting men in their underwear twerking for the kids on the streets of Minnesota.
Illegal at all. Tampons in the boys' room. Tampons in the boys' room. Tim Walz must have been high on shrooms when he passed a law to put tampons in the boys' room.
But Tim Walz, the communist governor of Minnesota, the BLM riots guy, the tampons in the men's bathroom guy, that's the
Dan Bongino's so fake. So fucking fake. Can't believe I used him as part of my video. The fuck was I thinking? Oh, that's some good OJ. Now I gotta pack a bowl, guys, of legal stuff. And it's a pipe, not a bowl. Let's do it. Where are we going to now? Venezuela? Let's take a look at this clip. Hold on. Did I even save this? I think I gotta find this again. Fuck. F me to tears. I mean, really tear me up on the inside. F me to tears. Hold on. Okay, so this is from 2 days. Let's take a look at this. I want to let some of this play. I don't know how much we're going to get into this because this is actually longer than I thought it was. I thought this clip was a little bit shorter. This is Trump announcing what happened. I guess I'll play this. I'll pull up some other stuff to get ready. And then we've got this other thing that's an interview that's about an hour long. So the theme with some of this coming up is basically going to be taking a look at what the fuck we've gotten ourselves into here. You know, a lot of people, it's crazy how understandable, but, you know, also crazy how much people are going to justify because of like the war on drugs and whatever. And this, I feel like, is by design. You know, the war on drugs has already allowed the U.S. to get its little grubby fingers into all kinds of bullshit. It's a good excuse for the governments and corporations to team up and fuck us all over. It's nothing about it has worked. It's like fucking reverse psychology, unintended. Well, I don't know if it's unintended. I don't know if it's unintended reverse psychology to try to regulate all this shit in a way that ends up making people want to do it. Is what I'm getting at. Whether with any kind of drug that they go to regulate, it just gets people curious about it. That's the same shit that happened to me when I was in school and learning about it in class when they had like the little drug program thing that came around. And, you know, a war on drugs is like, I forget how Terrence McKenna, how eloquently he would have put it, but he said something about the war on drugs is a intentional play with linguistics. to say a war on drugs. And it's sort of like, it's sort of a thing that lets you go, okay, surely they mean the bad drugs by probably my standards, because everyone is on drugs. There's drugs in everything. Drugs, chemicals are, your consciousness is maybe not entirely, it might not be simply chemical processes, but your consciousness, your state of mind relies or is at least on the foundation of chemical processes. And even some of the drugs that have been regulated are naturally present in your body, like DMT. That's a naturally occurring compound in the human body. And it's DMT is like converted, I think, in your body from tryptophan or something like that. And tryptophan, DMT is a tryptamine. All of these are like, all of the psychedelics that are tryptamines are like related to tryptophan. And I think, and I'm not a chemist here, guys, I barely know what I'm talking about, but I think for a lot of tryptamines, you can convert, and tryptophan is present in like every fucking protein powder. It's in all kinds of food that we eat. And if you take tryptophan, just a fairly competent chemist can make like, all kinds of psychedelics out of tryptophan. It's a common, it's a common compound. It's not anything that's like rare or like, avant-garde or fucking, it's like, that's how a chemist would fucking make it. I think that's how your body does it as well, is converts it from tryptophan. Anyway, but that's the thing though. It's just it's all a fucking game. That's what it's been from the get-go. It allows that you say the war on drugs. It's sort of like the same game as Black Lives Matter. It's sort of like, if you're somebody who is like scared of looking funny for questioning it, when someone says the war on drugs, back when that was like, when the war on drugs was like first like implemented, I bet people would just assume you're a junkie piece of shit if you said anything against the war on drugs. I bet they would assume you are a fucking crackhead. Or did crack exist back? I'm not even sure. Probably. I think so. I don't know. Anyway. Brian from Philly says, Venezuela used to be awesome like 30 years ago. It was great. I am old. Sniz says, I bet even McKenna would agree fentanyl needs to be highly regulated. So, we should watch some stuff with Terrence talking about the war on drugs. And, because this is the thing, regulated is another thing. Regulated is one thing. And this is the problem, Sniz. You actually, you bring up a very good point that leads me to getting to the root of the problem almost, is that when you've got the government who is, trampling people's rights to use substances that they, the users, deem to be a benefit to them and worth any risk. When the government's getting in the way of that with stuff that's like cannabis and kratom and stuff, where a lot of people that have used it and gotten benefit, and they're like, I've gotten benefit from it. I know there's stories of people doing whatever the fuck, but I've gotten benefit from it. And, and if you're going to treat marijuana the same as, well, cocaine is even a less strict scheduling, but you're going to treat marijuana like fucking heroin or something, you lose trust in the public. Everybody knows that that's not, even people that don't smoke weed. Back maybe like 50 years ago or something. Yeah, but no, everyone knows, even people that are stone cold sober know that cannabis is like arguably better than alcohol. Okay? There's a reason there's the term California sober. Can you think of like other substances that are like illegal drugs that have been demonized, that you can use just that drug and even like be considered like California sober. Where people understand when you say that, it's like, oh, you just smoke weed. Well, that's, thank God, because everybody has seen and knows how, like, number one, how rare like a true, marijuana crash out. It's just a lot more rare, but that's extremely common when you're talking about painkillers. You're talking about alcohol, all of these kinds of things that don't exactly inspire you to, function better in life. So anyway, people can see through the bullshit. So it doesn't help when arguably we have something like Sniz says, fentanyl here. Well, then the reasonable people go, yeah, you know what? We should do something about that. But then, people don't. Goes hand in hand with what I was talking about experiencing in school, where they were demonizing all these things to the same degree, and and so when you get out there into the world, and you're like, oh, I can handle just having like a couple drinks and enjoying my buzz. I can handle token a little bit with socially, or even just like, to help me out with whatever at home. And like, I'm still a functioning adult. I have a job and whatever. And then they go, maybe it's like that with heroin or PCP or painkillers or whatever the fuck. So, I mean, I don't know. It's, bro, it's a complicated, I'm not saying that it should be, everything should be completely unregulated, but the war on drugs, I appreciate that, Sniz. Did the CIA invent crack? I don't remember. We played a little bit of this thing getting into that, but basically the CIA supposedly helped get the like crack into the neighborhoods, or bring the cocaine over that was then converted into crack and sold in the inner cities and stuff like that. Supposedly that has been verified, Brian from Philly. That's not just a InfoWars conspiracy. But yeah, sorry. What I was getting at is the way our country treats drugs and drug users as like criminals. Maybe it could be, guys. Just imagine if like you could have a license or something. And again, I would prefer as an adult that I would be trusted to handle any of this shit and not have to put my name in a system somewhere or something. I mean, that does suck. But it would be cool if you could just have like a license to possess and experiment with whatever drugs. You just had to do them in front of a doctor and show that you didn't go running out of the room trying to eat someone's face off like you're on bath salts or something. Hey, if you take bath salts and you don't want to become a cannibal, then you'd be allowed to take bath salts too. Something like that. Okay, let me bring this up here. Oh yeah, I gotta get you guys. Let me get you on this. But yeah, dude. So yeah, drugs are part of this too. The war on drugs, and I'll show you this video. This one chick kind of breaks it down a lot better, and then she shows this book. And I think this interview is either with the author or this is a thing explaining some of this book. I'm not sure entirely. But anyway, there's a book we might be checking out here. Hold on.
I use ClickUp. Here's how I keep track of all my tasks. I start by brain dumping everything I need to get done.
Okay, thank you very much. This is big stuff. And we appreciate you being here. Late last night and early today, at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice. This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history. And if you think about it, we've done some other good ones like the attack on Soleimani, the attack on al-Baghdadi, and the obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites.
Bro, he's kind of slowing down. He's kind of slowing down. This definitely ain't 2016 Trump with the shtick and the whatever. Now we got children's blood on our hands. We're really slowing down these days.
Just recently, in an operation known as Midnight Hammer, all perfectly executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly, in just a short period of time. All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark.
We captured him in the dead of night. It was dark, very dark. It was the darkest it's ever been.
Lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have.
We blocked out the moon. It was so dark.
It was dark.
We actually have the technology to block out the moon. We did it. And it was so dark.
And it was deadly. But captured along with his wife, Celia Flores.
Oh, fuck. Sniz. Sniz, this is such a good joke. Jesus Christ. I thought the Midnight Hammer was the Paul Pelosi deal. Oh, fuck. That's so funny.
Both of whom now face American justice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York.
Guys, well, I'm speeding this up. We get it. He's slowing down the backstretch. Let's take this up to 15x speed.
It's Jay Clayton for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States and its citizens. I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight with breathtaking speed, power, precision, and competence. You rarely see anything like it. You've seen some raids in this country that didn't go so well. They were an embarrassment. If you look back to Afghanistan, or if you look back to the Jimmy Carter days.
None during my administration, but if you look back.
They were different days. We're a respected country again, like never before. These highly trained warriors operating in collaboration with U.S. law enforcement caught them in a very ready position. They were waiting for us. They knew we had many ships out in the sea. We were just sort of waiting. They knew we were coming. So they were in what's called a ready position. But they were completely overwhelmed and very quickly incapacitated. If you would have seen what I saw last night, you would have been very impressed. I'm not sure that you'll ever get to see it, but it was an incredible thing to see. Not a single American service member was killed, and not a single piece of American equipment was lost. We had many helicopters, many planes, many people involved in that fight. But think of that, not one piece of military equipment was lost, not one service member was, more importantly, killed. The United States military is the strongest and most fearsome military on the planet by far.
Yeah, Venezuela doesn't have gun rights, correct? Because when I was watching, let me say, I was watching the footage and I saved a little bit that we can look at. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of it. One person, so it was this same guy that I've told you guys about him. I'm friends with this guy on Facebook. He's a music producer. And he was posting a lot of anti-Charlie Kirk stuff. And look, I get it. Sometimes you get roped into some. And it was the really cringe kind where it's like, you know, it's a 10-second clip, and it goes, Charlie Kirk said all black women are stupid, and the clip is literally nothing like that. You know, those clips. He was posting that stuff, and it was just incredibly disappointing. So I don't trust anything that he posts ever. But according to him, and it's probably fake. In fact, you know what? Let's not even. No. According to him, this one of the missiles that they launched into Venezuela, like, landed in some lady's backyard. I haven't verified if it's true, but I saved the clip of this. I guess we could look that up if we really want to. But yeah, let's play a little more of this, and I'll pull up some of these wartime clips.
With capabilities and skills, our enemies can scarcely.
Let's see the kind of damage our tax dollars can do, guys. Aren't you excited?
Begin to imagine we have the best equipment anywhere in the world. There's no equipment like what we have. And you see that even if you just look at the boats, you know, we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each boat kills on average, 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%. And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and...
Dude, what's with us and the regime change wars, guys? What is with us? What is the deal, huh? It's not just the oil and stuff, is it? I don't know, man. It's just wild. They're going to run. What does this even mean? What does this even mean? Where they're going to run Venezuela till we put in somebody who's pro-Israel? I guess that's basically what we're getting at here. Did you guys know Maduro was like talking shit about what's his nuts? Netanyahu? And he was pro-Palestine too. Do you guys know? It's like there's all these fucking factors, and you just go, oh yeah. No, it's not like there's other countries around the world that are doing way worse stuff to their people. It just so happens we picked this one that has a leader who's anti-Israel, and not a Rothschild central bank, and also has the most oil, right? Out of every country, has like the best oil reserves. Funny how that happens.
Judicious transition, and it has to be judicious because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela, and that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. We've had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen.
And by Venezuelan people, he means the Jews, okay? Let's be clear.
We're there now, and what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it, essentially, until such time as a proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave.
You hear that? We have a plane crash every week here in America, but we're going to rebuild Venezuela. So I'm going to move there, I guess. I just want to live in a decent country. I'm moving to Venezuela, or maybe Gaza. When they get that fixed up, I'll convert to Judaism. Go kiss that wall. Go hump that wall.
If we needed to do so, we actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually. This was pinpoint, but we have a much bigger wave that probably won't have to do. This partnership of Venezuela with the United States of America, a country that everybody wants to be
Don't make us do the second wave. We don't want to do it.
Involved with because of what we were able to do and accomplish, will make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe. And it will also make the many, many people from Venezuela that are living in the United States extremely happy. They suffered. They suffered. So much was taken from them. They're not going to suffer anymore. The illegitimate dictator Maduro was the kingpin of a vast criminal network responsible for trafficking colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States. As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de las Solas, which flooded our nation with lethal poison, responsible for the deaths of countless Americans, the many, many Americans, hundreds of thousands over the years of Americans died because of him.
Hey, you know what? I had a friend that died from fent. I told you guys about this. And, you know, he wasn't even, poor guy was trying to quit opiates. That's the fucked up part. My buddy was fucking doing painkillers, you know, guys. And this is this is kind of how it happened. I don't know how exactly he got into it, but, you know, I was hooked on painkillers for a while. And I had to take kratom to get off of him. And it was the most difficult part of my life. I mean, and recently I've been facing a lot of difficult stuff, and I'll probably have more difficult stuff, plenty. But, dude, I can't tell you guys, I couldn't believe that I was actually, like, you know, for a while there, I was worried that I would be hooked on that shit for the rest of my life. And it was fucking me up. And the whole reason I got hooked on it is because I fucking got some dental work done. I got a wisdom tooth removed, and they gave me some painkillers. And, you know, it was like some time into having been taking these, a buddy of mine who did the Roxys, what they were, the blues, the 30 milligram Roxys. He was like, oh, yeah, this is basically the same thing as what you're taking, but it's more of a fast-acting thing, and you can snort them, too. You can crush them and snort them, so it gives you, like, a little punch, you know. And I was like, oh, cool. You know, and then it was downhill from there. I don't remember how long I did them for. It was probably a year or something like that. And, you know, but it was, like, the hardest fucking year of my life, man. It was so fucked up. But, yeah. Anyway, considering even still my friend passed from fucking fentanyl. Oh, wait, and I didn't finish. He bought Coke instead. This is what happened. It was fucked up. I was supposed to hang out with him, and I had a fucked up week, and I was feeling depressed, going through a lot of bullshit in life. And I was like, dude, I can't hang out this weekend. I'm just going to stay home and get some shit done. I'm really, you know, not feeling like hanging out. I was supposed to see him that Saturday, and I think Sunday he fucking passed away. He got Coke from somebody he didn't want to. He was trying to avoid doing heroin or painkillers, so he got some Coke, snorted the Coke, and the Coke was laced with fentanyl. Died. They found him completely blue. It was just like incomprehensible. All that. But even still, this is like beyond sketchy to me. Does anyone actually think that our government is just honestly trying to like help the people of Venezuela and put someone in there that's just going to take care of the citizens? Or do we all realize this has some fucking CIA Palantir fucking bullshit written all over it?
Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now, they're on a ship. They'll be heading to ultimately New York, and then a decision will be made, I assume, between New York and Miami or Florida.
Serious dictation was driving me crazy, so I switched to whisper flow. Here's why I'll never go back.
But we have people where the overwhelming evidence of their crimes will be presented in a court of law. And I've seen it. I've seen what we have. It's both horrible and breathtaking that something like this could have been allowed to take place. For many years after his term as president of Venezuela,
Sniz, I don't care about the people of Venezuela. You care about Americans. Okay, but Sniz, do you think that we'll see how this goes? Look, guys, I'd say, hey, you know what? If the rates of fentanyl overdoses and stuff go down, I'd be like, you know what? Fuck it. If it takes a little regime change to save a few people in my generation from, accidentally ODing on fentanyl because some fucking stupid drug dealer reused the fent bag to put cocaine in, and that fentanyl has been coming from Venezuela. If it actually slows it down considerably, I will be like, you know what? That's a good thing. I'm having trouble believing that that's going to happen. I really am. Do you think there isn't what about, they were saying it was all coming from China. Now they say Venezuela is where it's all coming from. And you think that there's not going to be American-made fentanyl on the street? I mean, maybe not, guys. I just, we use fentanyl in this country. It's not like, it's not like there isn't going to be some on the black market.
Expired Maduro remained in power and waged a ceaseless campaign of violence, terror, and subversion against the United States of America, threatening not only our people, but the stability of the entire region. And you all saw it. In addition to trafficking gigantic amounts of illegal drugs that inflicted untold suffering and human destruction all over the country, all over in particular the United States, Maduro sent savage and murderous gangs, including the bloodthirsty prison gang, Tren de Aragua, to terrorize American communities nationwide. And he did indeed. They were in Colorado. They took over apartment complexes. They cut the fingers off people if they called police. They were brutal, but they're not so brutal now. And I just have to congratulate our military, Pete, and everybody, and our National Guard, because the job that they've done, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where we have a totally safe city, where it was one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in the world, frankly, and now we have no crime in Washington, D.C. We haven't had a killing. We had the terrorist attack a few weeks ago, a little bit of a different kind of a threat, but we haven't had a killing in a long period of time, 6-7 months. We used to have two, on average
6-7,
2 a week in Washington, our capital. We don't have that anymore. The restaurants are opening. Everyone's happy. They're walking their daughters. They're walking their children.
Strategy, Steve. A strategy for whittling out the few nations left that aren't part of the Rothschild central bank and other stuff.
Their wives, they walk to
communism too.
Restaurants are opening all over Washington, D.C. So I want to thank the National Guard. I want to thank our military, and I want to thank law enforcement. Been amazing, and they should do it with more cities. We're doing it, as you know, and we're doing it.
No, I saw what you said about the oil, bro. But see, this is I don't like covering this. Bro, let's you know what? Fair, Sniz, fair. Let's see what Donald Trump would have to say from his old clips. Do we need to pull some of those up? I guess we'll do that. How would Donald Trump feel about current Donald Trump?
We are finally putting America first. Our policy of never-ending war, regime change, and nation building is being replaced by the clear-eyed pursuit of American interests. We are
interesting. It's almost like Trump is going back on something else that he campaigned on. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not a professional. I don't know what I'm doing. I just find clips. That's all I do.
The world would be better off with Saddam Hussein
100%.
and Gaddafi in power.
100%. Now, as far as Assad is concerned,
what about the human rights abuses?
Let's talk. Well, you don't think they're happening now? They're worse now than they ever were. People are getting their heads chopped off. They're being drowned. Right now, they're far worse than they were ever under Saddam Hussein or Gaddafi. And it all blew up around Hillary Clinton and around Barack Obama. It all blew up. Now, one thing about Assad, not a good guy. I understand that. We have to rebuild our country Our country's falling to pieces. We have 19 trillion in debt. We have infrastructure that's a disaster. Our roadways, our airports, our
But sir, the Venezuelan infrastructure, it needs us.
schools, everything. We have to start thinking about ourselves. We're pouring trillions of dollars into the Middle East, and we have nothing for it. We have nothing.
So
The world would-
so send some more. So let's send more to the Middle East. I don't know, guys. I want to say it's strategy, and maybe this is what we need to do. I guess is just be the be the schoolyard bully that takes all the oil, and then we get to decide who gets it or whatever. Should I just be happy I'm in the country where the government that is the bully and just takes all the stuff, that this is my country? Should I just feel lucky?
In Memphis, Tennessee right now, and crime is down. We just sort of started a few weeks ago, but crime is down now 77%. And the governor of Louisiana called, great person, and he wanted us to help him, as you know, in a certain very nice part of Louisiana. And we have done that. It was a rough section, and we have crime down. I understand it's down to almost nothing already after 2.5 weeks. New Orleans, it's down to almost nothing, and we've only been there for 2.5 weeks. Can't imagine why.
Rubio, who's got the numbers on that? Somebody.
Governors wouldn't want us to help. We also helped, as you know, in Chicago, and crime went down a little bit there. We did a very small help because we had no working ability with the governor. The governor was a disaster, and the mayor was a disaster. But it knocked down crime. But we're pulling out of there when they need us. We'll know. You'll know. You'll be writing about it. And likewise, Los Angeles, where we saved Los Angeles early on, where the head of the police department made a statement that if the federal government didn't come in, we would have lost Los Angeles. That's long after the fires. That's when they had the riots in Los Angeles. We did a great job. Got no credit for it whatsoever, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We don't need the credit. But we'll be pulling out when they need us. They'll call, or we'll go back if we have to. We'll go back. But we did a great job in various cities. But the place that we're very proud of is Washington, D.C., because it's our nation's capital. We took it from being a crime-ridden mess to being one of the safest cities in the country. But the gangs that they sent raped, tortured, and murdered American women and children. They were in all of the cities I mentioned, Tren de Aragua. And they were sent by Maduro to terrorize our people. And now Maduro will never again be able to threaten an American citizen or anybody from Venezuela. There will no longer be threats. For years, I've highlighted the stories of those innocent Americans whose lives were so heartlessly robbed by this Venezuelan terrorist organization. Really one of the worst. They say the worst. Americans like 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungari from Houston. Beautiful Jocelyn Nungari. What happened to her? They, as you know, they kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered by Tren de Aragua animals. They murdered Jocelyn and left her dead under the bridge. It was a bridge that will never be the same to so many people after seeing what happened. As I've said many times, the Maduro regime emptied out their prisons, sent their worst and most violent monsters into the United States to steal American lives. And they came from mental institutions and insane asylums. They came from prisons and jails. The reason I say both, they sound similar. Actually, prisons, a little bit more hostile, a little bit tougher. A mental institution isn't as tough as an insane asylum, but we got them both. They sent from their mental institutions. They sent from their jails, prisons. They were drug dealers. They were drug kingpins. They sent everybody bad into the United States, but no longer. And we have now a
I don't know if that was fireworks or gunshots. Just heard some stuff. Stuff's going on outside. I think Trump is bombing my neighborhood.
Border where nobody gets through. In addition, Venezuela unilaterally seized and sold American oil.
Venezuela.
American assets and American platforms, costing us billions and billions of dollars. They did this a while ago, but we never had a president that did anything about it. They took all of our property. It was our property. We built it. And we never had a president that decided to do anything about it. Instead, they fought wars that were 10,000 miles away. We built Venezuela oil industry with American talent, drive, and skill. And the socialist regime stole it from us during those previous administrations, and they stole it through force. This constituted one of the largest thefts of American property in the history of our country. Considered the largest theft of property in the history of our country. Massive oil infrastructure was taken like we were babies, so we didn't do anything about it. I would have done something about it. America will never allow foreign powers to rob our people or drive us back into and out of our own hemisphere. That's what they did. Furthermore, under the now deposed dictator Maduro, Venezuela was increasingly hosting foreign adversaries in our region and acquiring menacing offensive weapons that could threaten U.S. interests and lives. And they used those weapons last night. Potentially in league with the cartels operating along our border. All of these actions were in gross violation of the core principles of American foreign policy, dating back more than 2 centuries, and not anymore. All the way back, it dated to the Monroe Doctrines, and the Monroe Doctrine is a big deal, but we've superseded it by a lot, by a real lot. They now call it the Monroe Document. I don't know. It's Monroe Doctrine. We sort of forgot about it. It was very important, but we forgot about it. We don't forget about it anymore. Under our new national security strategy, American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Won't happen.
Hit upload and let Atria do its thing. A few minutes later, depending on how many reviews you've uploaded, it'll break everything down for you.
So just in concluding, for decades, other administrations have neglected or even contributed to these growing security threats in the Western Hemisphere. Under the Trump administration, we are reasserting American power in a very powerful way in our home region. And our home region is very different than it was just a short while ago. The future will be, and we did this in my first term. We had great dominance in my first term, and we have far greater dominance right now. Everyone's coming back to us. The future will be determined by the ability to protect commerce and territory and resources that are core to national security. These are core to our national security. Just like tariffs are, they made our country rich, and they've made our national security stronger than ever before. But these are the iron laws that have always determined global power. And we're going to keep it that way. We will secure our borders. We will stop the terrorists. We will crash the cartels, and we will defend our citizens against all threats, foreign and domestic.
So is he deporting the Venezuelans too? From here? Wasn't there what was the deal with the remember Venezuela? Trump initially granted Venezuelans in America legal protection. I remember that, and then he revoked it. Are they deporting these people, or I just don't know how this works? And this is truly a question. Are those people actually getting deported right now? Let me see. It got revoked last year, I think. Move to revoke temporary protection status for Venezuelans in late 2025, with the Supreme Court allowing termination to proceed despite legal changes from advocates. Decision was part of okay, so actually let me go over here. We'll read this for a second. I was just curious about this. Yeah, so they're saying after reviewing country conditions and consulting with the appropriate U.S. government agencies, Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem determined the Venezuelan no longer meets the conditions. This was last year, though. So, clearly it's bad enough that we had to still bomb it, but I guess it wasn't too bad to where these people are still granted temporary legal status or legal protection status, whatever. No longer meets the conditions for its designation for temporary protection status, and that the termination of the 2023 Venezuela TPS designation is required as it is contrary to the national interests. On October 3rd, the Supreme Court allowed the termination to take immediate effect. TPS beneficiaries who receive TPS-related employment authorization documents, forms, notices of action, issued with October 2nd, 2023 expiration date or on or before February 5th, 2025 will maintain work authorization and their documents will remain valid until October 2nd of 2026. Huh. So I guess if they're not legal citizens, they'd be getting deported because this is talking about applying for lawful permanent residence. Oh fuck. Scott Starboard, why are you putting this in my chat? You guys know how I hate talking about getting you to like the stream and subscribe to the stream. I hate asking people to do that. It's so pathetic. I hate watching these other streamers and content creators beg you guys to hit the like button. I refuse to ask you guys to do that, even though it would help me very much so. And it would be appreciated if you did do that, but I'm not going to ask you. Jesus Christ. It's like people don't want to be reminded to do it. They're going to do it if they like it, okay? Thank you if you've hit the like button. But I am not going to ask you to. Let's move on, guys. Border Patrol at the border told me what? They were letting everyone over to Mexico for the holidays. And then if you have so much as a parking ticket, they're letting them back. Just a boots on the ground report. Okay. Here, hold on. This deal. Bro, look at this shit. Look at this old clip of Trump, too. Bro, look at this. Look at this clip and tell me that they're not thinking about the oil. Tell me this is about fentanyl while watching this clip.
How about we're buying oil from Venezuela? When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door.
I mean, what?
How about we're buying oil from Venezuela? When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door.
Trump speaking in North Carolina. Yeah, I guess he wasn't happy with the way Biden refused to just conquer other countries like we are. God damn it. I'm not taking any medicine, though, guys. We're getting through this. We're raw dogging it. I took Kratom 2 days ago. I took like 2 little Kratom capsules and I opened them and just, swished them in my mouth with some apple juice and drank them, or some kind of juice. That's the only thing I've taken so far. And I've like sucked on some cloves, not garlic cloves, but like actual cloves. And those are like helpful. But I haven't taken any medicine. We're just getting through this. A little bit of phlegm. That's all it is. No, nobody freak out, okay? I think Scott Starboard got me sick through the stream. Scott Starboard was sick first. Watched his stream, got in his chat, tagged him. Now I'm sick. So here, let's get to this. Where are we at? 9:30? Yeah, we got time for this. Should we take a peek at some of the footage here? Hold on. Oh, did you see bombing? So they bombed Hugo Chavez's house? A tomb house. I'm a fucking dumbass. Tomb. He's still living there, guys. Hugo Chavez still living there. You heard it here first. God damn, I'm stupid. See, why do this is so confusing. Sometimes when I click on these, it goes to a whole different tab. Sometimes it doesn't. Like, what is going on, Twitter? I'm not saying this, but this person says MAGA is officially dead. Trump bombing Venezuela has officially made him Bush 2.0. Here, let's check out this footage. This is pretty wild, bro. No, so I was watching some of this footage. I guess it was after most of the bombs had been dropped or whatever, and there's just like fucking Apache helicopters flying over. And they are close enough. These people that are in these buildings filming. I mean, dude, if I don't know if it would be a good idea or if I should. Probably be a bad idea. But they're definitely close enough to hit with a rifle. It seemed like it. And I mean, I don't know, man. It's wild to just watch your country get fucking slammed like this and just watch the Apache helicopters come overhead. Nobody fires a single shot. There's not one person from the U.S. military that's taken out as a casualty in this at all. No pushback from anyone on the ground. You just let them like come in and fucking bomb shit and take your president or whatever. I mean, I just feel like that wouldn't even happen here. If some other fucking country came over here and bombed the White House or something, and there were Apache helicopters flying over some fucking high rises in Texas that had some fucking lunatics with rifles in there, they wouldn't take some shots. I don't know. Bruh. Copium. Here, let me bro, here's so Scott Starboard showed this Trump with Lindsey Graham on Air Force One, or were they wearing Air Force Ones? No, they were on Air Force. Okay, just had to make sure, guys. Bro, tell me, guys, seriously, tell me if you're comfortable with the excitement in Lindsey Graham's voice for all of this stuff. Just tell me on a scale from 1 to 10 how excited you think he sounds, and then on a scale from 1 to 10 how uncomfortable that makes you. I need to see some numbers in the chat. You guys on this? You are on this tab. Okay, let's go. What is this? We'll X that. We'll go here. X that too. Go there. Do this number.
You know, one of the things that is happening, I think you see it all the time. Howard, you've seen it.
Oh, wait. Who's Trump talking to there? Who's that Trump is talking to all the way on the left? Let's rewind this a little bit. Oh, this is Mr. Epstein Files consultant. Is for some reason there every time Trump is questioned on stuff. Howard Lutnick. What are some other interesting facts about Howard Lutnick? Also owned a business in the Twin Towers, and it was destroyed on 9/11. Also mysteriously stayed home from work on 9/11. Also mysteriously tried to not pay the family members of the deceased employees their last check. Mysteriously. It's so mysterious. And for some reason is in every clip of Trump ever being asked about the Epstein files since he's been elected. I don't know what. You guys do the math on all that. I refuse to. I'm healing. I'm still getting better from being sick. I can't do the math on that right now.
I think you see it all the time. Howard, you've seen it. That Cuba is ready to fall. You know? Yes. Cuba looks like it's ready to fall. I don't know if they can.
Oh God! Do you see how excited Lindsey Graham is? Is our volume up? Let's take it as high up as we can. Do we see how excited Lindsey Graham is? Lindsey Graham, Mr. Israel, defend yourself. Graham. Lindsey, Israel, defend yourself, Graham. Cuba, Cuba's about to fall. Yes! He couldn't, he actually just came in his pants. He cannot control himself.
That Cuba is ready to fall. You know? Yes. Cuba looks like it's ready to fall.
Oh,
I don't
God.
know if they're going to hold out. But Cuba now has...
Bro, this chick looks like she was looking at Lindsey Graham's face like, you fucking freak.
No income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it. And Cuba literally is ready to fall. And
I got whatever Lindsey Graham has right now. It's just a cough with, you can still get excited about regime change. It's not that bad of a flu. It's just a little phlegm. You can still do regime changes and stuff and take oil. It's not that bad. You're not like bedridden or something. He's got whatever I got right now. I feel the same way.
We have a lot of great Cuban Americans that are going to be very happy about this.
Marco Rubio.
You know, one of the things that is happening, and I think you see it all the time. Howard, you've seen it. That Cuba is ready to fall. You know? Yes. Cuba looks like it's ready to fall. I don't know if they're going to hold out. But Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it. And Cuba literally is ready to fall. And you have a lot of great Cuban Americans that are going to be very happy about this.
Marco Rubio.
Speaking of Cuban Americans, Marco Rubio. Cuba might be next. Cuba needs it. Bro, that might be true, but the way that Lindsey Graham gets excited about it, I just know there's baby's blood involved. That's what scares me. You can't convince me otherwise either. Okay, let's get over here. So this is drug war capitalism. That's as far I got, like 4 minutes into this. Let's check this out for a second. Now this here, you know what? Just to I'll pull this up too. So let's look at this chick's little reel deal, and then we're gonna check out this.
spoke up, and the U.S. has.
She mentions this book, and the author is getting interviewed in this thing we're going to watch next. So let's check this out.
Kidnapped an international leader. I'm Dr. Hilary Agro. I'm an anthropologist who studies the war on drugs, so I have a lot of expertise on this topic, and I'm going to say some things.
And I know what some of you conservatives that, fancy my stream here and there, I know what some of you are going to be thinking. Oh, here we go. Some fucking crazy professor, anthropologist, probably some left-wing nut going to tell us something about how Donald Trump is Hitler. Well, easy there, guys. Look, she looks like a woman, okay? That should be number one. Ease up there. She looks like a woman. She has long hair, and it's a natural color. She looks normal, okay? She doesn't look like she's like on some crazy shit and wants to make you gay. So just chill out. Everybody just take it down a notch, settle down. We're just going to hear her out for a second, okay?
The earrings on so you guys would recognize me. It's education time from bed. Like this.
She's wearing earrings and her ears aren't gauged, guys. Just settle down. Let's try and let's hear her out.
Video so it's seen by more people because it's really hard for experts like me to cut through all the propaganda, and I'm about to use a bunch of words that the algorithm does not like. Okay, so academics and activists like myself have been saying for decades that the war on drugs is not what the government says it's about. They say it's about keeping you safe. First of all, please tell me if the war on drugs has been effective at keeping drugs out of your community.
Safe and effective, she said it, just that not right next to each other. Is that triggering for some of you guys? You think they want us safe and affected?
Systems theorist Stafford Beer coined the term, the purpose of a system is what it does. What the war on drugs does, because everybody and their mother uses drugs, is it gives the government a blanket excuse to target particular groups of people with oppression. In the settler colonial countries of North America, that's usually Black people, Indigenous people, and poor people. Watch the documentary 13th to understand how chattel slavery was just quietly turned into the prison industrial complex as we know it today. So when we say that the war on drugs has always been a pretext for political suppression, and then a foreign president is kidnapped in the name of stopping drugs, this is exactly the kind of thing that we mean. My colleague Don Paley wrote a whole book about this. I'm going to go get back to bed. Okay, here's the book. It's really good. It explains how the US government has always colluded with different corporations in order to use the war on drugs as an excuse for land grabs in Latin America. It's usually for extractive industries. Can anybody guess what Venezuela has that the US wants? So legalizing all drugs is not a frivolous goal. It's necessary for pulling the rug out from under US imperialism and its domestic slavery factories, aka prisons. The final boss is obviously capitalism.
Yeah, so I'm not going to try to speak for this woman or the author of this book. I'm intrigued to see what they recommend if they do make recommendations as to what the world would look like if we treated drugs in Western society in America the way they wanted us to treat them, what regulatory wise and all that, what that would look like. I'm interested to see. But when someone says legalizing all drugs, I don't think that means it's a complete free for all. There's various forms of this. What does Portugal do, right? Portugal, I mean, I've heard a little bit of debate. It was for a minute there. It was cut and dry. Everyone was just spreading the rumor oh, Portugal legalized everything and all their rates of OD and, fucking everything has gone down, crime rates and all kinds of shit that we think is related to them legalizing all drugs. It's, I've heard a little bit of pushback from that, but maybe we could take a look at that if we want to. What are Portugal's rules on drugs and what the outcome has been? Because I think that's it's been almost a decade or something, over 5 years since that happened. But yeah, ideally the thing is that really the difference here, the distinction is that the way you treat people. Icy Bird says, I go interview the junkies at my park. There's about 30 to 40 regulars. Yeah. Some of the difference when we're talking about legalizing drugs or decriminalizing, some of this goes into the treatment of the users, right? So the war on drugs this was very much a thing. And I could be a little, I'd have to really go do my research and cite whatever, but I know this just from hearing about it and, whatever in the zeitgeist, that the war on drugs was always pushed that they were only going to penalize people that were pushing, like, well, maybe not exclusively, but they made it seem like the main focus of the war on drugs was to go after pushers, people that are pushing large amounts into neighborhoods. Turns out that was the CIA, so they had to start going for the users, okay? And everybody knows how junkies are treated in America. It's just not a pretty thing. They're treated like pieces of shit. There's plenty of people, and guys, everyone, maybe not everyone, but I think a lot of people know some personal stories of their life, where you had somebody you knew about that had problems, and you could tell that the system just didn't quite treat them right. And you know what? And I'm sure there's some people that might, if you haven't experienced this, you might not actually recognize that. I mean, as I was saying that, I was thinking about it. You might not really recognize it, the way how someone that's addicted to drugs and is, actually at least partly a victim of their society and their programming and everything, the way that they're treated, by the law, just for wanting to experiment with their consciousness and stuff. And again, when you're talking about this with me, there's a lot of baggage that comes with it, a lot of factors that I am very much acknowledging are part of the problem, which is the drugs already in the food, guys. This is, again, I've said this before, this is part of why people turn to drugs, because they feel like shit. They feel like shit because they eat shitty food. Then they go to do drugs, and then they get in trouble. But they'll put whatever fucking bullshit in the food. They're fucking the mystery flavoring chemicals that they have intellectual property over. They don't have to tell you what's in them, and do excruciating, painstaking studies on all of it, and just to make sure there's no weird reactions people are gonna have. Your kids got fucking crazy food dyes existing in every meal they eat of the day, and eventually you get to be an adult, you're addicted to fucking bullshit food, and you really start to feel like shit, and you turn to pharmaceuticals / street drugs. That is part of my theory on a lot of this. So anyway, there's a lot that fucking goes into it, and it is completely unfair to just treat people that are struggling. Really, what it is it's people that are struggling, treating them like outright criminals,
and colonialism. But drugs are the primary boogeyman they use to scare you, because they think that we are all dumb and manipulatable, and they use that boogeyman to justify imperial intervention in Latin America. So when activists and academics like myself talk about legalizing drugs, it's not only to keep drug users safe from the toxic supply that prohibition has created, which is reason enough. It's about literal geopolitical stability. It affects you, because nobody is made safer through this kind of intervention. It just makes the rest of the world skittish, and there will be consequences such as sanctions that will affect the average US citizen. So the next time someone around you brings up drugs, please tell them that human beings have been using plant medicines and their extracts since the dawn of time, including everybody who uses alcohol and caffeine. You're all drug users too. But only some drug users are used as scapegoats for societal problems when they're actually the victims, not the perpetrators of state violence. And prohibition doesn't work. It just gives the government an excuse to collude with corporations to consolidate power and make all of our lives worse. Thank you. I love you. I'm going to go eat breakfast now. Follow me for more, because I guess this is what I'm doing today.
Okay, so we can't read through a whole book on stream. And guys, I've thought about that. What if we did a stream here and there where I read a book out loud? You guys know I can, I'm not the best reader, but I can kind of speed read. Would that be absolutely fucking insane? And would you guys start unsubscribing? Asking for a friend. All right, let's get on this other tab, guys. Okay, so here's this interview. This lady is going to, what's the author's name? Don Paley. So I guess she's getting interviewed about her book. Now, this doesn't have drug pause. Let's just subscribe. We'll hit the like button here. I'm playing. Let's get through some of this, and maybe check out this channel, guys, and go give them a click over here, because this doesn't have 313. This person's struggling. Like, maybe I should try to interview this lady. I have more subscribers than this person does. Huh. Wonder how she feels about Israel.
This is a very...
She'll talk to us. Okay. All right. Let's get started here. What should we do? 50x speed? 100x? 125x speed.
You're listening to Drug Positive, the risk reduction and benefit enhancement podcast, reducing shame and stigma to save lives and end the drug war.
What is this jam?
Let's give thanks in this day of Thanksgiving. Let's give thanks for the joys of life, for the friends we have.
What the fuck are we doing?
Getting about Thanksgiving, which is a sweet holiday. It's just about getting together and thankfulness.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's non-religious and it's pretty non-commercialistic. It's pretty cool, huh?
Well, what are the roots of Thanksgiving? Doesn't it go back to some Native American and Pilgrim harvest feast?
I don't know. I think that the roots really would just be traditional harvest celebrations that every culture has. But we did agree when I grew up at a time when there was this mythology about the first Thanksgiving and the Native Americans helping the Pilgrims,
right.
which was given to us as a heartwarming tale in grade school.
Icy Bird, here's the thing. Big oil does not want a bunch more oil. It's going to drive the stocks down. So why did we invade Venezuela? So we can burn the oil and create a false shortment of supply. I don't know.
But as time went on, people started to take issue with it because it's very simplistic, cartoonish version of history.
Yeah, and it ignores the horrible things that Europeans did to Native peoples over here, which is actually still going on, and a big part of the interview that you're going to hear coming up soon.
Right, that's right. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's important for us to know the real history and not just go along with these sanitized versions that they give us.
You guys think I could get an interview with the plastiline guy, the black dude, Julian? What's his name? Julian Brown, the plastiline dude.
In grade school.
Right. It just ignores the ugly reality, the literal genocide that this country was built on, the conquistadors, which I just realized, I can't believe it's taking me so long. That's just the Spanish word for conqueror. Conqueror.
Yeah.
Literally, they came and they conquered and killed the Mayans. And this episode is about drug war capitalism. And I interviewed Don Pauly, who wrote the book called Drug War Capitalism. And it's really all about what's going on in Mexico right now and how the drug war down there is just an extension of this process of genocide and conquering, and Western corporations now who want to extract the resources of the country and use the drug war as a cover to murder indigenous populations that are standing in the way of resource extraction. She says 35,000 people a year murdered in Mexico, all under the cover of the drug war, when in reality there's much deeper, darker political, economic stuff going on. So this is a very heavy episode.
Yeah,
guys, now listen, I don't want to be the bleeding heart liberal in here going like, we can't take all the oil. But look, I mean, we could have this conversation maybe if the gas prices were going to be like actually insanely low. Does anyone think that that's actually going to happen? Are we going to get gas that's like $1 a gallon? Because I might get on board with this, but it really depends on what the outcome is. It really does.
really heartbreaking repercussions. And the drug war, the mythology around the drug war is the perfect cover for all of this, because using misinformation and fear mongering that they use to perpetuate the drug war mentality, they can go in there and wipe out communities. Young people basically get targeted.
Yeah, everyone, this episode is going to blow your mind. And, we tried to open up with something really happy. Here we are on Thanksgiving, and we really are giving thanks for everything that we have, but
we're trying to scare you off from listening to this episode.
We're trying to kind of make sure this episode isn't so completely and totally 100% dark and scary, but you really do need to prepare yourselves for what you're about to hear. It's really a paradigm shifting interview for a lot of people who don't understand this. There is great evil in this world. So I'm really trying to give thanks this Thanksgiving today. Not think about the interview, but be happy that I'm going to get to see your mom. I love your mom. She's great. And John, her husband, is awesome too. And Angelica, our daughter, is driving herself over. That's why she's not in the car with us right now, because, Grammy Sue bought her own car, and she's 18 years old. They grow up so quick, people. If you have kids, you should love them to death and spend as much time as you can with them now before they grow up.
But my son Alexi isn't able to join us on the coast today.
Right.
He's staying inland so he can go to his wrestling meet, first wrestling meet.
That's a little sad that his school planned a wrestling meet on Thanksgiving weekend. So he's staying with his biological dad, so he can do that. But I remember that when I was his age. I love soccer, and I would never have wanted to miss a soccer game to go off with my family. Boring.
Yeah, he's very committed to his athletics.
Love your family, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving out there.
Yeah, we're just keeping it short and simple this time, sitting in the car on the side of the road.
Yeah, no housekeeping. I mean, we tell you go to our Patreon.
Subscribe.
Give us a review on iTunes, all that kind of stuff. But we're going to wrap this up because we're on our way to Thanksgiving. Love you all, everyone. Enjoy the interview coming right
Hurry
up
up
as much as is possible. Dawn, thank you very much for being on the show. I have been a big fan of yours ever since I read Drug War Capitalism. So thank you for writing it. And tell me, first of all, why did you write it?
Well, I wrote Drug War Capitalism. I started in 2010, and it was in a moment politically where it felt like the anti-war movement, like against the Iraq War and the war in Afghanistan, in the US and Canada was still active, was still powerful. And I sort of wrote it in that context with the hope that folks in the United States and folks in Canada would start to think about the war on drugs in Colombia or in Mexico or in Central America as a US war that we should also be protesting actively on the streets and sort of including it within that discussion. That was sort of the political motivation. And then there was also just the fact that I had worked in Colombia and then had been in Mexico. And when I started hearing the reports about increased violence in Ciudad Juarez, increased violence in Mexico, at the same time as we knew that the US was starting to shift their focus in terms of funding from Mexico to Colombia, I was kind of like, this is not a coincidence. We cannot allow this to be presented as a coincidence, to be presented as random violence. So it's just sort of that instinct of, we need to research and do interviews to try to bring some common sense into this that helps us explain and understand what's happening and not just sort of this random chaotic violence, which is often, how it's talked about in the media.
Right. Yeah. Most people think that drug war violence is coming solely from cartels competing with each other or U.S. and Mexican government efforts to stop the cartels. Nobody really understands the way that these systems work together and that there are bigger reasons for the drug war, that it serves as a cover for some nefarious stuff that goes on. How would you describe what's going on in a nutshell?
It's hard to ask about a whole book in a nutshell, but I guess a few perspectives. I think that state violence remains the key phenomenon. So I think of state violence, police violence. In the case of Mexico, you also have the army and the Marines active in the so-called war on drugs, right? Like that really the violence is emerging from militarization, and the sort of other kinds of fighting with cartels and those forces or between cartels has a lot to do with that initial push of what I call militarized prohibition. It's been since the Mexican government declared this war on drugs and started sending troops into Michoacan in December of 2006 with Felipe Calderón, who just became president, that the violence has really exploded. So a lot of the violence of the drug war, and I think we can say the same thing in the United States, is state violence, right? So it's racialized policing in the United States, the prison system, mass incarceration, and here in Mexico, it's policing the poor, policing by certain geographic areas. But instead of the sort of prison and the imprisonment being the key sort of mechanism of control, here it's massacre, murder, and disappearance, and forced disappearance. But we see kind of similar things. It's really the state that is creating a large part of the violence. And then a lot of the other violence of cartels and, I call them actually paramilitary groups rather than cartels, sort of spin-off violence is connected to that initial thrust of state violence or militarized prohibition.
Yeah, right. And when did this start? What year was he elected?
Well, so I go back in the book I started in the year 2000 with Plan Colombia, which started with President Pastrana, and that lasted basically until 2006. In 2006 in Mexico, President Felipe Calderón was elected. It was actually a fraudulent election, but he managed to take power in December of 2006, initially started the drug war then, and the U.S. came on with funding with something called the Merida Initiative, which is just like Plan Colombia, starting in 2008.
Yeah, and so if we look at drug use in the United States since then, it certainly has not been reduced. So all this violence has not had an impact whatsoever on the amount of drugs flowing into the U.S. In fact, Mexico has entered the heroin market, now the fentanyl crisis. So it's completely ineffective, yet it's having such negative repercussions. What are the numbers? Tell people the numbers. Because when I hear these, it's incredible how many people have died in Mexico. How many people a year are dying?
I mean, we're talking about between 25 and 30,000 people being murdered each year, basically on average in Mexico. 2017 was the most violent year in the last 25 years. I think it's close to 28,000 people who were murdered in purposeful homicides. We have over 37,000 people who've been officially denounced as having been disappeared over those 12 years. The real number is much higher. When family members go and they make they file a police report, they often report being threatened by authorities. There's a lot of reasons why people aren't coming forward to file police reports for disappearances. So we don't know how many have taken place sort of off the books. There's been clandestine mass graves found in every state of the Republic of Mexico except for one. So it's a widespread phenomenon. You have hundreds of thousands of people who've been forcibly displaced from their lands internally. And then you have a huge amount of people who have crossed over into the United States and, made asylum claims based on, having to flee this violence that they're experiencing in their home communities. So the effects in Mexico have been devastating. Mexico is not the same country that it was at all in 2006. And, I think the main difference between today and 12 years ago is just the amount of violence, the amount of massacres, the amount of mass disappearances that have taken place in the country really destroyed the social fabric in a lot of the country, these kinds of extreme violences.
Now, in your book, you write that most of this is not actually about fighting drugs, but using the drug war as a cover to this.
So what she's saying that's not all the cartel. I think she's cute. Yeah, she's cute, Icy. What is she saying? This is the police doing some of these killings and stuff too? I mean, I know the police are corrupt in Mexico and Colombia and shit, but she said it's not just the cartel.
Destroy indigenous decision-making structures so that the extraction industries can have their way. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, in saying that these policies are a failure in terms of reducing drug consumption in the United States, we've known that since Plan Colombia, right? We have clearly seen that these types of plans do not reduce drug consumption or improve public health in the United States. But what we do see is that they tend to improve the conditions for investment by large corporations. So in the book, I look at cases in Colombia of oil companies who use paramilitary violence connected to this war to have people displaced off their lands. Same with mining companies. We know that huge corporations like Coca-Cola, for example, have used paramilitaries to destroy unions and prevent union organizing in their shops. And so we see this sort of symbiotic relationship between large capital and the creation of this internal enemy, which basically tends to be young men, right? And we see the same thing happening in Mexico. So you have campaigns of social cleansing in some cities and towns, really attacking young men. A lot of the discourse is very similar to that in the United States, saying these are gang members, these are bad kids, these kids want to hurt other children, these are bad young men. In the United States, they need to be locked up. And in Mexico, the state tries to justify their death, their shooting, their disappearance by saying, they were up to something bad. But what you see is a very similar type of social control, and also in rural areas. So in rural areas, it might have to do with displacing whole communities off of lands that have, gold underneath or silver mines, or they're in the way of a pipeline, or they're in strategic areas like the US-Mexico border where the goal is to sort of control the amount of laborers and prevent labor organizing. But there's all kinds of side effects too, like small businesses end up closing because insecurity becomes so bad and extortion starts to ramp up with all this violence. Small businesses end up closing. The businesses that stay open are like the Walmarts and like the huge supermarkets and the Home Depots. So you see like a transition towards an economy with less small businesses and less little shops on the corner and less markets that actually give local people a little bit more autonomy, right, in their day-to-day life.
So to rephrase this, we have paramilitary groups in Mexico murdering community activists on behalf of foreign corporations who want to come and restructure the economy in their favor, and the government is presenting it as if it's cartel violence.
I mean, I would say that's a pretty good summary, but I think we need to go further than say murdering activists. It's also, it's just murdering certain segments of the population, but in a way that is so grotesque and so massive that, people refer to it as social cleansing, right? Wow. So it's taking out, the kids that hang out in the corner, the 15 to 25-year-olds that hang out in the corner and drink beers and keep an eye on what's happening and who's coming in and out of the community. Those are the first people that, are removed and they're taken out, disappeared, incarcerated, or murdered.
Absolutely criminal. So what percentage of the Mexican population understands this?
Wow.
Because I don't think many people in the United States do.
No, I mean, it's the discourse of the war on drugs. I think, I'm sure you've talked about this in your show in the past, in the United States is so strong and it's so moralistic, right? So it's like here in Mexico, which is a very conservative country, it's a Catholic country for the most part, right? So there's this idea that, well, something happened to Pedro who lives on the corner, but he must have been involved in something bad. He must have been using drugs. As long as my family's not doing anything like that, as long as we're not, we'll be fine, right? So it creates the sort of discourse, the moralist sort of discourse of the drug war, creates a lot of separations and fragments people a lot. And the main source of information that people have on the drug war in Mexico or in the US is the media, right? And the media is just like, basically the media repeats what the police says, what the Justice Department says, what the Attorney General says, as if it's the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And once in a while you'll read a fantastic investigative expose about the ramparts or like the corrupt police in networks who are actually planting drugs on people, right? Who are who the people responsible for this, the border agents who are also serial killers and traffickers themselves. But you get the odd piece of investigative journalism. But for the most part, the media is just repeating exactly what the government's telling us, and the state is just constantly saying that we need to wage this war basically on the bad people to protect the good people in a very simplistic sort of moralistic way that misleads the general public at large. I mean, there's growing consciousness, I think, especially since the disappearance of the 43 students from the Ayotzinapa Normal School 4 years ago in Guerrero. There's sort of a growing consciousness that there's more at play, that there's something else happening that's not just what we're being told, but it's still, we're still a far distance from having a critical mass of people protesting the drug war as a war for power, as a war for capital, as a war, a reactionary war.
Yeah, there's none of that in the United States.
What's up, Fat Pig? Lover, good evening. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. What's up with you? We're learning about the war on drugs and capitalism. Drug war capitalism. It's an interview with the author of this book.
Very few people have this kind of structural analysis. That's why I kind of call it the elephant in the living room. I don't think people understand the depth of corruption and the way the drug war and capitalism, predatory capitalism, are fused. It must be frustrating.
I mean, in the United States, we do have these examples of like the fantastic work of Ruth Wilson Gilmore, her book Golden Gulag, or
God damn, eat more coleslaw. 1 hour, 15-minute wait for Bojangles tonight. Mrs. Coleslaw finally asked for a manager, and I walked out to the car. Damn, bro. They just got exposed. They have no idea the wrath that they've brought upon themselves by disrespecting one of the chat members, a listener, a viewer of Dark Times with Dark Match Steve. That's me. They have no idea the wrath that they brought upon themselves. Get them, chat!
Michelle Alexander, right, with the new Jim Crow, these very convincing arguments and very, very well-documented arguments telling us that the war on drugs is being used as a pretext to mass incarcerate, right. Young men of color.
Yes,
and in Mexico, we are a few decades behind. But I think that actually it's a similar kind of analysis. But the thing is here, they don't have a prison system that's big enough by any stretch to mass incarcerate on sort of the levels that they're doing it in the U.S. So the methods here are connected more to disappearance and massacre.
Right.
But yeah, of course, it's frustrating. I mean, it's like rowing like a little rowboat against the ocean and just being like, something else is happening, let's shift the discussion. But there's more voices, there's more people working critically on these issues. A new book just came out here in Mexico called Cartels Don't Exist. So his argument is that the cartels are fiction, basically made up by states, and there's just a more. It's gaining ground. It's gaining ground as a sort of alternative discourse. And when I present drug war capitalism here in Mexico, because it came out in Spanish just a few months ago, the response is generally, oh, yeah, this happened to me in my community, or that reminds me of something that I saw. Like, it's not a difficult thing for people to make connections between the kind of violence that they've experienced, which is primarily militarization. Right. But then, of course, there's also, there are people moving drugs, but it's really hard to tell who's a police officer and who's a drug runner. And I mean, it's very, very difficult for people who are living through it to tell who's who. But what they can tell you is that, it reduces mobility, it reduces their ability to communicate with their neighbors. A lot of people leave town, people stop going out, all kinds of stuff that basically makes people more atomized, more isolated, which I think is, what this is about. It's really about destroying the social fabric in Mexico because people are organized here.
Right.
People are organized from apartment building to apartment building.
So, Coleslaw, I don't know why you're laughing. Okay, this chat is about to make Bojangles' life hell. Okay, they will rue the day. Thank you guys for coming to hang. I just I try to just have a fun stream and talk shit. I think Sniz left us. I think he gets mad if I unfairly criticize Donald Trump. I don't know if I did unfairly, but anyway. Not the best algorithm tonight, gentlemen.
Organized within family and extended family and kinship networks. And that kind of organizing can be activated at different moments in self-defense and in defense of the land and in defense of people's property and in defense of people's rights, right? And that's kind of what I think they're destroying through this kind of war.
Right. How long have you lived in Mexico?
I've been here for 6 years now. So I started coming down before, but I've been here really full-time for 6 years.
Are you concerned about your own safety, especially now that the book's been published in Mexico?
I definitely have.
Bro, I was just going to ask that. Is this bitch dead?
I have like sleepless nights every once in a while, and I've had a few complications, but if I was deeply concerned about my own security, I wouldn't be here. I mean, I'm a Canadian citizen, so I could go back. I am deeply concerned about the safety of a lot of very close friends of mine, though, right, and colleagues, because these are people who are facing tremendous amounts of risks every day for speaking out against enforced disappearance, against massacres, for revealing, for publishing different kinds of reports. So that's what really keeps me up at night.
Right. Let's see if we can list off how should we call them, the hidden reasons for the drug war, the things we've been talking about here that a lot of people don't understand, right? A racist excuse to jail black people or to eliminate your political enemies in Mexico. The corruption, the sheer amount of money made in the drug war and how that trickles up to politicians, police, intelligence agencies, etc. Right? And then also the multinational corporations that launder that money.
Right. I've done a little bit of work on that, and I think that the trickle up of the cash economy that is created through prohibition in the United States, it tends to trickle or move. Maybe it's not trickle because it's quite a significant amount of money, but it moves into the banking system, it moves into real estate. It gets recycled into the illicit economy. And what we tend to see in Mexico is that surplus that's created through that illicit economy that's created through prohibition is heavily invested in arms, right? So in weapons, in vehicles. Right. So it actually it's an off-the-books way to strengthen paramilitary organizations, commonly called drug cartels, where the government doesn't have to buy them weapons or supply them with vehicles. They can do that through their access to all these illicit funds. And the thing is that those groups, the paramilitary groups, I mean, the definition of a paramilitary is that it's somebody who's not technically part of a state armed force, but who basically works together with them, right, in coordination with them. So it's a way of strengthening state power. You have, the displacement of people off of their land, pushing people off of resource-rich land. You have a sort of control of working people, right, by sending these messages of, bodies hanging in front of the maquiladora as a suggestion, to anyone who might want to organize. There was a woman's body was found in Nuevo Laredo, Tamaulipas. She was someone who was active online on Twitter denouncing different crimes on her Twitter.
Eat more. This other guy just talks really slow. I have it sped up so we could get through this a little quicker. But yeah, it's my fault. He just talks really slow. He almost sounds normal when he talks, and when she talks, it sounds too much, but I have it sped up.
count, and her body was found wrapped in her keyboard with the mouse and everything in a central plaza, right, in Nuevo Laredo. So it's like that's sort of sign to, anyone who's publishing on the internet that, you're being watched and you could be next. There's been a war on journalism. The journalists who are kind of running the most risk are police reporters, right? So people who are reporting on police corruption.
Someone got hung by their keyboard cord.
On municipal level sort of corruption. So there's been a real sort of chilling effect on the media. You have sort of extortion networks.
Send the link, Fat Pig. You want the link, lover? We're in such a bad algo tonight.
Form. I mean, there's all kinds of side effects. It also creates just a huge amount of impunity. Just about, less than 5% of these crimes are actually ever investigated in Mexico. So it also just opens up this sort of open season on life, where then, an abusive husband just says, well, whatever, I'm just going to kill my wife because no one cares anyways, because there's so many people dying, or there's so many people being killed, right? So there's all this sort of spin-off effects of this kind of extreme violence as well.
So are you continuing to do investigative journalism in Mexico around this issue since you published your book? Is that why you're in Mexico still?
Yeah. So I actually came here to do a PhD, which I just finished, and I did my dissertation work with a group of family members of people who've been disappeared. So basically, they carry out land searches every Saturday in the northern state of Coahuila, it's a border state with Texas. And these family members, they go every Saturday and they look for human remains, and they have found in the last 2.5 years over 100,000 bone fragments.
I sent you the link, lover, if you want to call in.
They've actually managed to identify.
They counted 100,000 fragments.
I mean, they count every time they go out. They do an estimate.
Wow.
So they have, but sometimes they measure them by kilo, like by weight, and sometimes they measure them by the number. But I've gone out with them on a Saturday and found they estimate between 3,500 and 4,000 bone fragments on a single day.
Wow.
And those counts are agreed to with state authorities who are there present. I mean, they're estimates, but so what they talk about is these killing fields around the city where young people or people who were being disappeared were basically incinerated in diesel, and the charred bones dumped in the desert. And these bones, it's pretty remarkable, even though they're really tiny, they still contain DNA. So the same families have been promoting DNA testing for family members that disappeared, and they get these bones that the government gets them DNA tested, and they've returned 19 people, 19 genetically corroborated bone fragments back to their families who now can sort of have closure. So that's what I've been working on.
Is your PhD
4 years is sort of those struggles?
Yeah. Is your PhD available?
What if they just cut off their leg and put their leg out there and burned it? What if it's not the whole body and the person's still getting tortured in a fucking shed somewhere?
Read online or
not yet, and it's actually I wrote it in Spanish as well. So I'm hoping this year, 2019, to go back to journalism for a year, and so hopefully I'll be getting lots more new stuff out because Mexico has a new president who's taking office on December 1st, and he's promised a lot of changes. And there's a certain amount of hope in Mexico that things might improve and the violence might be reduced. But we'll be there, myself and other reporters.
Right.
Let's see what happens.
Jesus, Eatmore said, "Wriggle like a fish." Yeah, Coleslaw, you can tell she's a freak too. Is she? I don't know.
Happens and feet to the fire.
Right. Have you read Catherine Austin Fitz's article? It's called Narco Dollars for Beginners.
No, I should read that.
Oh, you should read that. Because that really influenced me. I think it was back in 1999. She has a picture of the head of the New York Stock Exchange at the time, Richard Grasso, embracing a FARC commander, all raised. And according to her article, he asked them to invest their drug profits in the U.S. stock markets, and they said no, that the resources of Colombia belong to the people of Colombia, and they refused to do it. And that Plan Colombia, the U.S. government's funneling of millions of dollars a year to the Colombian government to supposedly fight the cartels in the drug war, started just 2 weeks later, which the Colombian government only used to fight the FARC, not the cartels in the country.
Right. I mean, the FARC is not a drug cartel, right? The FARC is a guerrilla movement that started in the 1960s.
The fart?
And what we know basically is that the FARC did control significant parts of Colombian territory starting from the 90s. And so
it's not fart. Fat Pig. Hold on a second. We got Fat Pig in here. Hold on, guys. Fat Pig, welcome to Dark Times with Dark Mad Steve. Lover.
Motherfuckers.
We're in the worst algo ever tonight. Welcome.
We're going to prove it right now with the Fat Pig.
Are we?
Yeah, I've seen the numbers on your shows when I come on. People seem to enjoy it.
It normally
doing
takes
it and
a complete nosedive. It's normally a complete nosedive. You get on here, people start.
So what fucking conspiracy you talking about today?
Normally you get on here, people start going to click on fucking Tim Pool or something.
No, you got 427 in the first day on the last show I was on. And you normally get about 40.
Wait, what?
I check numbers, bitch. I check algorithms.
You check numbers. You think you're getting me all my clicks? You just said I get normally about 40?
When you do Candace Owens, you shoot through the roof. Or when you do Fat Pig, you do about half the numbers.
Bro. Guys, the The fat pig is smelling himself more than I have ever smelled myself.
What pig doesn't smell himself?
You got your head in the trough, buddy. Let's see. 40. You are such a dick saying I get 40 views. You're such an asshole. Hold on. We're gonna screen share.
Look at the numbers on the last show that I was on.
What's the last show you were on? I don't remember. Oh, it was the Hatley thing.
Yeah.
Dude,
fat pig. It's because of the Brent Hatley thing. It wasn't me. Okay. Never mind. All right. Press 1 in the chat if you think that the fat pig brings extra content.
Okay, I got 617 on the Hatley video. You said 40 views. You're such a dick. I got 93 on the cops versus whatever, which is always, look, that's our fun night. It's not a trending topic, so I get less clicks on that. But then we got Nick Shirley, 241. The Christmas one kind of sucked. That's 40 some views. But yeah, Nicki Minaj deal 260. Piers Morgan versus Candace. I mean, yeah, I've been covering a lot of Candace, but
yeah.
But then we got
I've been plugging the fuck out of your show too, Steve.
What the fuck out of my show?
I've been plugging the fuck out of your show, Steve.
Well, show me the clips.
All right, I'll fucking pull them for you if you want. Jesus.
Anyone could just tell me they're plugging my show. I mean, I'm not saying you're full of shit. I'm just saying I want to see the clips.
Okay.
Democrat cop manipulating. I 240 something, 230 here, 140 something here. And it's not all Candace stuff. Luigi Mangione over 100.
No, your Candace Owens shit is the biggest shit.
I mean,
that's your biggest stuff.
I guess it depends.
I just noticed after a couple of days that the stream that I happened to be on was very high for the little bit of time that it was on.
Oh, of course yes, you did.
I was, smelling myself a little bit, I suppose.
Oh my God, and he's got a fucking bell too. Hold on a second. Where's the goddamn parody song?
Oh, please do. And I want to propose, Steve.
Propose what?
I want to propose to you.
Hold on.
I like Dark Match Steve.
Dark Match Steve is a parody guy. He's smelling himself a little bit. He has told people that he's offended that I did not offer him a microphone position.
I stream by myself. Many people enjoy it. Bubba found out and it really annoyed him. I stream every night. My channel is active. I swear to God I didn't make fun of black kids. You shouldn't watch anybody else. I started my own stream. Now I smell myself. Oh!
Vocals are pretty good on that. Goddamn, I gotta say.
Oh, it's fucking fantastic. Why'd you stop it? I was jamming, Steve. You're very talented.
I'm gonna rewrite the whole song about you.
Roll the fucking song. No, you gotta do Goodbye Horses to the Fat Pig. And then you also need to post the outro song just as a solo so I can jam out when I'm taking a shit in the morning. Because I enjoy that.
It's not that good.
I think watch anybody else. My show solo homo.
I did it. Yeah, it actually planted that seed.
Oh, okay.
So I was going to apologize to Bubba and to DMS because I just blurted that out one day that I said, hey, why shouldn't Dark Match Steve get a shot at it?
You blurt out a lot of stuff that I hate.
Yeah.
And don't follow through.
Oh, fuck me.
Oh, why are you pausing it? Why aren't you just going to let it roll? It's a great song. I was jamming. What the fuck?
I ended it because I don't want you to enjoy yourself that much.
What an asshole.
Oh, fuck. I hope you get sick with whatever's going around. It's not fair if I get sick and you don't.
Don't worry, I already farted in the mic, so I'll get COVID.
I hope you get infected from being a co-host on here right now. I hope you get infected. You're a bug chaser? Is that you sound aroused? Okay.
Don't make me pop the chop, Steve.
I'm not afraid.
Oh, really?
That means I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, if somebody gifts, somebody Venmos you, let's say $20, I'll pop the top, and then I may even bust open the ring box for you. I've been saving it for a special little person.
What the fuck are you even talking about?
I bought a ring for you, Steven.
What is it, a Bubba Army royalty ring?
No, no, I don't get invited to that shit.
Me neither.
What a ring for you, Steven.
What kind of ring? Show me.
Well, I'm not going to show you the ring unless somebody donates. It says I had it inscribed just for you.
Unless somebody donates, bro, there ain't enough people in here that care that I'm not a homeless crackhead.
All right, we'll give it 5 minutes and I'll get down on one knee and then I'll propose.
Okay, seriously though, you got some ring for me?
Yeah, I bought you a fucking ring.
Are you insane?
No, I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you, Steven.
Okay.
I thought we could hold hands and, walk down on the beach and, ride out into the sunset.
I farted, but it was almost silent.
Yeah, that's weak. That's weak tits. Come on, man.
Eat More said, who is this MILF on the screen? This is the author of the fucking drug war capitalism that we were listening to her get interviewed about her book. I would just read the book on the stream, but I don't know if people want that. Oh, fuck. So basically, we get it. We get it. Our government is just...
I sound like John Malkovich. What the fuck?
What?
I was just reading chat. I'm sorry. I got distracted.
Oh. He's got chat cancer now, too, guys. Check out Fat Pig.
All right, Steve. I'm going to get on one knee and I'm going to propose, okay?
Want Mike for cause of Brian Matroni, but Bubba thinks I am just a jabroni. I ran my mouth.
What the fuck?
Steven, will you take my hand in marriage?
Absolutely fucking not. It's got a cigarette in your hand. You fucking...
I'll put the cigarette down.
You're going to propose to me with the fucking cigarette in your hand?
I put the cigarette down.
What are you, giving me the cigarette?
No, I'm going to give you the ring.
What the... Okay, let me see it and I'll make up my mind.
No, you have to say yes or no before I open the box.
That ain't how proposals work. I may be a retard dreamer, but I know that much. I may be gay and no one will ever want to marry me ever in real life, but I know at least that much. I at least should be able to see the ring before
then you ain't getting shit.
Okay, well, I don't want your fucking ring pop. I don't want your goddamn fucking plastic toy ring dispenser at the grocery store ring.
How dare you? How dare you?
What was the
And I got in some trouble to get Mike for. I'll get on my knees for turtle.
So, like, if you want something, you gotta go for it.
You shouldn't watch anybody else. I started my own stream, now I smell myself. Oh, don't watch.
He called into my stream. Now he smells himself.
Why do you keep stopping the song when I'm trying to jam
Else, my show, solo, homo.
Did you hear that one?
Yeah, that was weak.
You know, don't think that you're all that you're going to slide up in here on mic 4. That's just not going to happen. That's somebody that's smelling themselves a little bit and a little bit Bubba Army entitled.
Oh, there you go, Fat Pig. Don't think you're just going to slide in here on mic 2. Okay?
All right, Steve.
That's just being a little bit Dark Army entitled.
All right, Steve. Are you able to hit me full cam? So I can do the proposal?
No, the feature is currently not working on StreamYard.
All right. Well, this will be good enough. Steven, will you marry me?
In that
Is
case,
that a yes or a no?
In that case, yes.
Fuck yeah. Get it right up there. Yeah.
Now let's consummate this fucking disgusting.
Ah, the hairless fresh pig. Ah, how delicious. Oh yeah. How butter.
What do we got for parody songs in here?
This is absolutely lit. This is lit, 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 lit.
I am Iron Dad.
Oh, fuck.
If you leave a hateful comment again and again, you will be blocked, deleted, also backtraced. If you leave a hateful comment again and again, you will be blocked.
All right. I don't feel good. I gotta get out of here for real.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel dirty with you.
No, that's
starting to get interesting
flu.
feelings.
That's the flu. I got you sick. Hopefully.
Maybe it's herpes.
This guy wants my strain of herpes. Is that trending right now? Is everybody clicking on this video? This guy just said he wants my herpes strain. No,
I mean, I'd use a bottle of Duty Lube.
Like
on
our
there.
numbers are still the same, Fat Pig. I don't know.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. They're probably tanking, honestly, now.
Oh my god. I could use a drag off that cigarette though, for real. I think that might actually help. That's one thing.
Here, you want one?
When I used to smoke cigarettes, if I got
Yeah.
sick, I would
Here,
smoke
Steve,
more
have it.
cigarettes.
Just take the cigarette.
Wrong
Just take
side.
it.
Wrong side. Other side. Other side.
What do you mean other side? What is it, mirrored on your end?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're missing my mouth. You're going too far over.
No, you're fucking wrong because I'm looking at the stream. It's this way, you stupid fuck. Look, here. That's putting it into your mouth.
Bro, you want to see what you're doing on the stream? Keep going to
I'm
that
fucking
side.
watching it right now. I've already liked. I subscribe. Yeah.
You're going to the
Pull it
wrong
up.
side. You were going to the wrong side.
Yeah, after you told me to switch to the other side.
Go to the side you think is connecting to my mouth and watch what happens.
Okay.
Watch. Here we go. You're going to go away from my mouth. See? See? That's the wrong side. How am I supposed to get it?
That's right in your fucking mouth. What are you talking about, dude?
You're not watching the screen.
Are you not watching the screen? Look at it,
This
dude.
is the stream. You're looking at the display. It must be reversed for you or something.
Oh, you got that reverse gimmick shit on.
I actually don't.
Oh, you got the reverse shit on.
What I'm watching isn't a mirror of myself. It's
No, I gotta do the. I gotta flip the mirror screen.
Wow, this stream was almost really shitty tonight, but the fat pig really pulled through for us.
Fuck you. All right, there we go. All right, now here you go.
It's the wrong side. Still. Oh my god.
It's not. Are you watching the fucking thing?
Ah! God, dude.
You're a fucking idiot. You are a fucking idiot.
I'm the idiot, guys. Oh, fuck. That's so fun. Bring back the hottie. We're done with that fucking bitch. And don't go buy our book. I'm in a bad mood. Fuck everything. No, for real? Morning what? Hold on. Hold on. Can I full screen you? I don't think I can.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Just you? I don't know if I can do that.
Let's see. There we go.
Morning high guest, the fat pig. Is this some other show you're on?
No, not at all, Steven. I'm just petting the pig.
How dare you? How dare you put this background up on my show? In fact, no. I'm not going to endorse this other show. I don't know what this other show is. They probably think Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. They're probably some fucking feds or something. All right, we're going to do that. No one can see what it is now. All right, look, you bastard. I really do have to go.
That's fine, Steven. You have a blessed evening. You can go take your other guests like Holy Joe and Tampa Cherry and all that bullshit. And
I constantly
you can take it down the street. And would you like to see a little nip before I go?
No. No nips. What is your deal?
I don't know. I'm just a little precarious tonight.
Did you shave your eyebrows too?
What? What are you talking about?
I think
I got a hat on.
I think the fat pig is turning into like John Wayne Gacy or something. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, that's fucked
And
up.
you've also got a Bubba Army shirt on. You're just in here promoting other shows.
I'm turning into Brent Hatley, okay? I'm sorry.
I wish you would go trans. Then you might go viral and I'd have you on more, and then you might get me to go viral.
All right, Steve, do you want me to pull my hat off and just go full?
I'm not asking you to take anything off. You're scaring me. What? What the fuck?
Yes, I did cut my hair today. And yes, the clipper guard did slip when I trimmed my eyebrows. So I do look like powder.
You look like a fucking... You look like a professional clown who is, just popped out in a shower. All right, dude. Well, this has been fun. This has been an absolute nightmare, but fun. It's one of those.
All right. Well, I really do appreciate you having me, Steven. Most important.
It's one of those nightmares that you wake up from it sweating profusely, but then you go, you know what? It was actually like fun on this one level. I feel like I was in an adventure, but it scarred me. Guys, I gotta for real. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired. Hopefully I get this fucking mucus out of me and we can have like a normal stream again. And hopefully by then the fat pig will have grown back some of his hair. So we'll see about all this. But yeah, I'm excited for us to invade Cuba now and wherever else. Let's get all the oil, guys. Let's get all the oil. Okay, I'll see you guys. What are we doing? Tomorrow, 8 p.m. Yeah, tomorrow's Tuesday, so I'll see you guys then. I was thinking, should I give you guys a teaser of what we're getting into for this week? I got a few things saved. I don't think I'm going to give you any teasers. I've edged you guys enough tonight. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning into Dark Times with Dark Match Steve, who is, getting over being sick. I hope you get sick too. I don't want to suffer through this alone. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for the clicks and everything. I do appreciate it. It's hard fighting these algos in here. But yeah, I'll see you guys. Streams are and just letting you guys know for the rest of this week. Yeah, I got a lot going on. Streams there might be for this week. We might be cutting a little short sometimes. And, it's because my buddy is leaving town soon. My buddy's leaving town to go work out of state, actually leaving the state. And I'm probably not going to see him for like another fucking 3-4 months. At least probably 3 months. So anyway, I'm trying to spend some time with my buddy before he goes out of town. So we'll see about that. Dutch Duke, I appreciate that. So yeah, but we'll have some interesting stuff to get. I got some fun stuff saved for this week too. All kinds of shit to get into. So I'll see you guys tomorrow around 8 p.m. Eastern time. And also don't forget our buddy, our mod in here, the only mod that I have for this channel, and we need about probably 10, is Scott Starbird. You can click right here from his profile, get over to his channel and check out my boy's stream. He goes on before me. This is around like 6 p.m. Eastern time. And you'll see me up in his chat, up in there, slutting it up. And then come join us again at 8 p.m. over here for Dark Times with Dark Match Steve. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Everybody take it easy. And if you got sick, I hope you get over it for realsies. Everybody take care of themselves. Eat some good food. Have some soup. I don't fucking know. See ya.